noise with the heater. Hey guys, this is Benjamin Boyce. Can you hear me? So I stumbled on this website called Womanhood, challenging white women to do better. What is white womanhood? As white women, we simultaneously hold social and financial power as white people while suffering under the confines of womanhood. So you get it both ways if you're a white woman. You get to suffer and you get to benefit with financial and social power. In this way, we often enact harm while relieving ourselves, let's pause there for a moment, of responsibility for our actions. This is a way to get back from relieving yourself of responsibility for actions. Now you get to be responsible, which is a great thing. White women love to be responsible. We are viewed as objects to be defended or violated by our white male protectors. White men's presumed ownership of pure white women does not keep us safe, and it certainly, I love this little double dash. They don't know about the M dash or the N dash. Actually, they do know about the M dash, but they don't use it all the time. Anyways, white men's presumed ownership of pure white women does not keep us safe. Actually, I think it does. And it certainly does not free us from patriarchy. Actually, insofar as it keeps you safe, it enslaves you to patriarchy. That's the quid pro quo. You get a bunch of white men keeping you safe, and then you get to be safe, and you get to benefit from patriarchy, which is where you derive your financial and social power from this thing that you call patriarchy, which you love to simultaneously hate and adore, and hate yourself for adoring. So if you love guilt, if you are addicted to that guilty pleasure of guilt, confronting your white womanhood is for you. It reinforces it. The silencing of women's history has erased the ways in which we were active players in the white supremacist system we live in today. We believe there are four main areas in which we participate: violence, universalism, post-racial optimism, and white saviorism. If this is not the epitome of white saviorism, I don't know what is. Let's look at the more info. We all have a stake in each other's liberation. Only by confronting our participation in the oppression of others can we all get free. For white women to be in true solidarity with people of color, we need to hashtag, let's pause there for just a second, confront white womanhood. I love that this woman is looking at her shadow. What does that say psychologically, that this woman is confronting her shadow? I mean, we can go the Jungian route, or what's probably going to be known as the Jordan Peterson route, but we'll just say it's the Jungian route. But anyways, I think of Fiona Apple. This is who I think of. I'm shadow boxing, baby. Our mission, asterisk. Let's go down where asterisk. Asterisk. We do not believe in creating white-only spaces, except in our guilt. All people are welcome to attend our workshops and watch us flagellate ourselves. Flagellate? Flagellate. One is passing gas, the other is whipping herself with a whip. However, they are designed for white women committed to being a part of an intersectional feminist movement to unpack the ways they uphold and benefit from white supremacy. Any capital P person of capital C color interested in attending who may have questions, please reach out through our contact page. They're very inclusive, except for the guilt. They want to keep that to themselves. Our mission. For centuries, violence has been done in the name of ... and even physically enacted by M- white women. We have continued to perpetuate white supremacy in a myriad of ways, even while working towards social change. We as educators, organizers, and creative change agents. Who the fuck is a creative change agent? An uppity white woman would call herself a creative change agent. believe in examining historical context in conjunction with personal story sharing to reveal how white supremacy shows up in our own behavior. Through vulnerable discussions about individual complicity, we empower attendees to disrupt white supremacy from within their own communities. Subtext: we are going to go around judging not only ourselves, but all of our friends until they bend to our guilt-addled wills. We believe that white women can be better accomplices in the fight for freedom and are committed to helping them embody that change. What is white womanhood? ? The thing is about these quotation marks, you never know if you should put the question inside the apostrophes or outside. I like the way it looks with it outside, but I always question that. What is white womanhood? As white women, we simultaneously hold social and financial power as white people while suffering under the confines of quote-unquote womanhood. They even question that. So their whole stake is that they're women, but they need to make that as malleable as possible because, you know what? They hate to be defined, even though they love to be defined. This is patriarchy and anti-patriarchy in a perpetual cycle of guilty pleasure and guilt. In this way, we often enact harm while relieving ourselves, pause, I think I'm repeating myself, of responsibility for our actions. We'll skip ahead. I just like that. Relieving ourselves, which is a pleasurable activity. How do white women participate in the oppression of people of color? Not capital P, not capital C. Why is the one thing that is consistent with all of this SJW rhetoric is the inconsistency of their grammar? Grammar is probably oppressive. Bullet point 1, violence. Protecting white women, quote unquote, is used as justification of violence against capital M, men of capital C, color. White women using this fear protection to cause harm to capital M, men of capital C, color. See, the thing is that if they were actually being assaulted by somebody who was not white, they would probably want somebody, whether they're white or not, to be protecting them. But they want to twist that protection into somehow exhibiting their guilty pleasure and the power that they have. And then they get to be guilty of cake, meat, tummy, and then hand at the same time. Bullet point 2, universalism. The assumption that white women's experience of womanhood is the universal experience of womanhood. Now, womanhood is no longer in quotes. Why is that? Because they don't want to assign their quotation marking of womanhood to everybody else's quotation marking of womanhood. They want to be open and inclusive. If you actually do believe in womanhood as somebody who isn't from white woman's culture, then we fully respect your need and desire to be a quote-unquote woman without being a quote-unquote woman, quote-unquote woman. Ignoring the lived realities of capital W, women of capital C, color. Bullet point 3, post-racial optimism. Doesn't that mean just like hope and like actual inclusion? The habit of ignoring the oppression of capital P people of capital C color in favor of elevating false narratives of equality without a period. What's this false narrative of equality? That we're working toward it? Okay, so this might be the anti-utopian goal. They're saying equality is never going to happen, so we're just going to take all the pain and suffering of all of history upon ourselves. That's how we're going to equalize things without saying that you have to be equal to us, quote-unquote women, unquote-unquote women. Bullet point 4, white saviorism, otherwise known as exactly what they're doing. The assumption that a white person, not capital W white, not capital P person, can single-handedly quote-unquote fix a capital C community of capital C colors problems without following the leadership of that community, often resulting in further damage to the community. Reinsertion of the period. What does it mean to, quote, confront white womanhood, end quote. Question mark. White women feel our oppression under patriarchy so strongly that we often overlook our participation in the oppression of people of color, capital P, capital C. Don't hate us. We hate white men just as much as you do. It is time to be accountable for the harm we cause, however unintentional it may be. This means confronting ourselves and our communities in the ways we support. Oh, yeah, see, back up to that relieving of themselves. We support, organize, and interact with capital P people of capital C color. Then they have this line. And then there is a theory of change. Let's see how their theory of change works itself out. Reflection and accountability. Educate white women on the historical context of white womanhood, not capital W white, not capital W womanhood, in the capital U United, capital S states, and guiding white women towards locating their own behavior in that context to help them understand their role as perpetrators of harm. Self-interest, which has nothing to do with all the guilt that they are wasting all of their time on, going around berating each other. This is not a waste of their time. This is a total valid use of all their resources of people with all this power and responsibility. Anyhow, self-interest, which has nothing to do with the tonality of this argument. Don't look behind the curtain. Self-interest. Demonstrate to white women that white womanhood is a gilded cage. They really love the fact that they are so goddamn oppressed, that it harms them in addition to harming, capital P, people of double space. Look at that, double space, right there. 1, 2, 1, 2. Capital P people of capital C color. And imparting, M dash, and imparting on white women their personal stake in dismantling systems of white supremacy. Go ahead and dismantle it all. And then you won't have any power or any responsibility whatsoever, which you're fine with, but then you won't have any guilt or any time to go around berating each other. So what do you do then? I don't know. Get back to being just a unquote unquote woman. Anyhow, behavior change, development of and training in behavior change strategies. What the heck is a behavior change strategy? That sounds like a cult. Behavior change strategies? That is a cult. White women can apply in daily life. This is a cult. This is a cult. But as you see, there's nothing after this development and training in behavior change strategies. It is not specified whatsoever. Reparations. Probably with all their boyfriends' and husbands' money. Reparations. Create a habit of sharing financial, what did I just say, and labor-based resources. What are they going to do? Lamaze with one another? Till all the windows are fogged? They can't see beyond the myopia that they can't see behind. Create a habit of sharing financial and labor-based resources with capital P people of color, capital C, led groups with no expectations of outcome or credit. Yeah, right. Our team. Oh, look at that. Credit. Confront white woman with Rihanna Childs. Rihanna Childs is executive director of Women's March Ohio chapter and digital communications manager, Planned Parenthood Advocates of Ohio. A lot of capitalization there. Rihanna's background in the United States Air Force as a healthcare professional was the beginning of her compassion and dedication to social justice and uplifting voices of marginalized and oppressed communities. She is also the chair of community outreach for Lean in Ohio. I wonder if that's a weight loss clinic or somebody that goes around supporting dilapidated buildings. A member of the King Arts Complex, stress on complex, Women's Service Board, and the Health and Legislative Chair of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. No More, No Less, Inc., Columbus, Ohio chapter. She also likes very fluffy yellow clothing. Ooh, here's the woman. Heather Marie, not capital S, Scholl. She's a very serious woman. I actually kind of find her a little hot. Heather Mary, now capital Scholl, is an artist. How did I know that? Look at that. Look at that little artist sneer. She's so serious. Is an artist and activist invested in approaching social justice issues with a productive emotionality. We can do this, guys. We can dismantle everything. We really can. Totally ruin Western civilization. I believe in us. Her primary focus is in, get this, you would have never guessed, anti-racism work. Particular anti-black racism. Would have never thought that. Understanding whiteness, not anti-black racism, no, but whiteness, and the layered ways they manifest, kind of like a tiramisu of oppression. Her main fine art body of work is white work. I really want to click this. We're going to click it. Let's look at white work. I could have totally told you it would have been a vagina. I knew it was going to be a vagina. Whew. But at least it's a crying vagina. Or a crying anus. I don't know. The tear duct is the anus, technically. And the eye is the vagina. Which examines white women's roles in the establishment and maintenance of white supremacy through white work embroidery techniques. What the fuck? Her work has been shown at a bunch of places. Not least of all, the Evergreen State College in Race, Gender, and Sexuality, and an MFA. Wait, what? She holds a BA from the Evergreen State College in Race, Gender, and Sexuality. Oh, everything comes together. I knew I wanted to do this for a reason while I'm procrastinating on my ongoing Evergreen expose. Anyhow, I love you, Heather Mary. Not capital, sometimes capital. She's like, she's capital fluid here. Well, I mean, not only capital fluid, but anus fluid. Trip. One more. Trip. Okay. And then Sophie Elman Golan. Oh, poor girl. Why are you running with this crew? Sophie Elman Golan is the Deputy Director of Communications at Women's March. Okay, that's why. A social justice activist, poor girl, with a background in racial and gender justice. I feel so bad for her. Queer liberation, really, and anti-police violence organizing. She is a member leader on the Campaign for Police Accountability, good work, and legislative working group at Jews for Racial and Economic Justice, JFREJ, and a proud member of the hashtag Jewish Resistance. To what? Prior to joining the Women's March team, Sophie worked at Everytown for gun safety, the national largest gun violence prevention organization. She holds a bachelor degrees from Barnard College in Africana Studies. What? And human rights? Really? Okay. I guess that's how you get involved in this. And that's accountability. And I'm going to wrap that up.